Action.
Burrito by Robin King. Down in the middle of the country of Mexico, in a place called Casa Grande, there was a very tiny rancho which belonged to a farmer named Miguelio Lopez. And he had 4 sons, Manuelito, Chiquinto, I have no idea, Petito, and Sam. That's
wow.
easy. And their mother, Estrelata, which means little star. They called her Mama Misa for short.
Mama Misa? Mama Misa? Sounds like major.
They were very, very poor. They had each other and their tiny rancho and nothing else in the whole wide world except for a little burrito whom they called Burrito because that was his name. Now, if you know that a burro is first cousin to a donkey and second cousin to a mule, then you know that he is the third most stubborn animal in the world. That is, all except Burrito, who had the sweetest disposition in Casa Grande and perhaps even in the whole of Mexico. He helped with the plowing. He carried things to the village on market day, and the pages don't want to turn, and brought the family home in the evening. They're barefooted. He even helped with the housework. He's using his tail to get the dust up in the broom, and gave Manolito his weekly bath. Of course, the news of such an uncommon burro could not remain a secret for long, and soon Burrito's reputation was known far and wide in all the corners of Casa Grande, even at the hacienda of Senor Rodriguez, who was the richest rancho in the whole countryside and smoked 50 centavos cigars. When he heard the wonderful stories about Burrito, Senor Rodriguez asked his foreman, Alfredo, is it true these stories about the burro of Lopez? And Alfredo said, "Sí, Senor Rodriguez." And he said, "Sí, Senor," because this is the way most Mexicans want to say yes, sir. Then Senor Rodriguez said, If this is true, Alfredo, is it not strange that nobody like Lopez should have the best burrito in Casa Grande, while I, who's also so rich, have 50 of the laziest, most stubborn burritos in all of Mexico? Alfredo thought long and hard before answering, and then he said, "Sí, Senor Rodriguez." He said, "Sí, Senor," because he knew that Senor Rodriguez liked to hear people say yes, sir, to him. And Alfredo found it very pleasant to be foreman of the richest rancho in Casa Grande. So that very afternoon, Alfredo and Senor Rodriguez set out for the tiny farm of Miguelio Lopez. And when he saw Burrito at work, he said, Caramba! That's what it says.
That's not what it says. Okay, keep going. It's like he's crying.
Which is a very Mexican way of saying, my goodness, I must have that burrito.
There's nothing Mexican about this interaction.
With that, Senor Rodriguez offered to pay Maguito 50 pesos for burrito, which is more money than Maguito could make in a month.
His name changes every time. Mosquito. Not to be able to finish. Mosquito. Just call him that, please.
But Magilo said no.
I'm like, Larry, on videoing. You can't do that.
Oh, you can't.
Send me your
Then
videos.
Senor Rodriguez offered 200 pesos, which is more than Magilo could make in 6 months. But Magilo said, no all.
What?
Hold.
Oh, he's just said no, and there's an
No.
exclamation mark. He's trying to make it Mexican.
My mom was confused because it didn't go dot, dot, dot.
He looked up like the spaces and it was like no, but it was capital N, lowercase n, O.
So Senor Rodriguez appealed to the whole family and offered them 500 pesos, which is more than they could all make in a year. But they all said, well, Senor Rodriguez, hearing a little maybe in their voices, pretended to go away, which is a very Mexican way to buy something. Then he turned around and said, 1,000 pesos. This is my last offer. Soul said, Magilo.
Mosquito.
It was hyphen.
Mosquito.
I forget.
Wait, what is it actually though?
Yeah, that's it.
He said it right like the first time.
Miguelito.
Yes,
Miguel-
something like that.
But it's not
My tongue-
Miguel.
My tongue can't say that.
Miguelito.
Megalito.
Megalito.
Meg-
Close enough.
Kind of like
As
Mega
you can
Millions.
imagine, that did not make the burro very happy. Manuelito, Chipolito, and Pepe and Sam also were sad.
Stop drinking!
Popeye and Sam.
Don't drink anything, you're gonna spew it everywhere.
Popeye.
Mama
Not-
Misa.
Popeye is English.
Mama Misa!
Popeye is
Mama
Spanish.
Misa!
Mama
Isn't it
Misa.
Mama Sarita?
And Mama Misa thought, well, who will help me with my work when Burrito is no longer here? But Magilo said, be of good cheer. We now have enough money to buy many burros and much else. It was not a very happy day for anybody except Senor Rodriguez, who had the burros he wanted, and Magilo, who was busy counting his money.
Miguelito.
This is worse than the first.
The very
Yes.
next day,
He's
Magilo went to the village and came home with a new burro and cart, and with new clothing for the whole family and a box of 50 centavos cigars. A rich family with 1,000 pesos, much dressed richly, he said. But Mama Misa and the boys could not put on the things that had been bought with the money of the burrito. And when they thought about burrito, such a weeping began. In the days that followed, Miguelito
Miguelito. Sound it out.
Miguelito began to regret his haste to selling such an uncommon burro as Burrito for the new burrito, whose name was Diablo.
Diablo.
Refused to pull the plow, and this made new work for Miguelito. And on market day, Diablo was nowhere to be found when he was needed. And there was housework to do, but no burrito to do it. And Manuelito had to take his weekly bath by himself. And then one day, Miguelito began.
I'm sorry, what?
How do you pronounce that name?
Just trying to say you
Became very angry with his family and with Diablo, mostly with himself, and he said, Caramba! Which is the Mexican way to say, my goodness, we must get our burrito back. I don't know how, but get him back we must. So the whole family dressed up for the first time in their new clothing. They set out for the rancho of Senor Rodriguez. On the road, whom should they meet but Senor Rodriguez himself? He was having trouble with a stubborn burro, and he was in a very unfriendly mood. He scowled angrily at Miguelito and shouted, "Lopez!" If he had felt friendly, he would have shouted, "Senor Lopez." "Lopez," he shouted, "you cheated me. That stupid burrito is more stubborn and lazy than my other 50 other burros." "I did not cheat you, senor," said Miguelito politely. "I sold you the best burro in all of Mexico. If you are not happy with him, I will be glad to take him back." "What about my 1,000 pesos?" said Senor Rodriguez. "I can give you most of it," he said, "Miguelito, and for the rest I will give you this fine burro and cart." "Sold," said Senor Rodriguez. And they shook hands to show that they had made a bargain and they were friends again. At this, Burrito and the whole family Lopez jumped for joy. But when Miguelito, Chiquito, and Pepti and Sam tried to climb back and upon the back of their homeward journey, the Burrito behaved with a great stubbornness which puzzled them much. Then Burrito snorted gently in the ear of Miguelito and nudged his flank softly to the side of Mamma Misa, and suddenly they understood.
Mamma Misa.
And started off home together. The end.
And
Yay.
I'm sorry, what was his name? Mosquito?
I would like to see the book.
Miguelito,
Miguelito, Diablo, Peppa. It wasn't Peppa.
and Sam.
Was it Pepita?